Okay, here we go. Module 8, day 3, synthetic division and the factor theorem. Example, use synthetic division to find the quotient q of x and the remainder r when f of x is divided by g of x. Y'all, let's do synthetic division again. So remember, I'm going to put a positive 1 here. I'm going to check my degrees. I go from 4 to 2, so I know that I'm going to have a 0 as a placeholder. So this is going to be 3, 0, 8, negative 7, and 4. And then just do your operations here, guys. You remember synthetic? Okay, good, because we're going to want synthetic. Y'all, we're going to want synthetic division. We don't want to do long division unless we have to. Okay, so now that we've done that, do we have a remainder? What is the remainder? Yeah, that stinks. That's horrible. So yes, we do have a remainder of 8. Now, let's play around with this. We know it's not a factor. If I plugged in 1 into this polynomial, what would the answer be? What is it? Plug it in. Y'all, 1 is just going to be the coefficients. That's going to be 3 plus 8 minus 7 plus 4. When you add up those numbers, what do you get? The remainder. So remember, if f of 1 equals 8, that's not 0. That's not an x-intercept. And that's just the main point of today's lesson, y'all. So here's what the factor theorem states. It states that if x minus c is a factor of f, then if we plugged it in, it would be 0. So what I have 2 options now. You can do synthetic division to see if you have an x-intercept, but you can just plug it in now and see if it's an x-intercept also. Use both, and I'll show you why in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the factor theorem. We're going to do this right here. So to determine if x minus 1 is a factor, we're going to plug in a positive 1 and do the math. So when we plug in positive 1, it's going to be 8 minus 3 plus 1 plus 4. 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. So if f of 1 equals 10, is x minus 1 a factor? No, because if we did synthetic division, would we have a remainder? Yeah. What's the remainder? For this, it'd be 10. So x minus 1 is not a factor. So y'all, that is the factor theorem. That's cool. That works. That's great. But let's look at the next example. So for example, number 2, which is the very last thing for today's lesson, we're going to determine this. So if I use the factor theorem, I would plug in f of negative 3. So if I plug in f of negative 3, y'all look at the exponents. I'd have to raise negative 3 to the 5th power, and then I'd have to do all that other stuff. And I don't want to grab a calculator. I don't even have Inspires to make it easier for us. So I'm using synthetic division. Synthetic division is going to be a lot easier than using the factor theorem. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, none. Check your powers.